Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn about DNS configuration on Linux, and we will also learn about how to troubleshoot internet issues on Linux. Sometimes we face issue like when we try to connect with outside our environment over the public network, we are unable to reach out or we are unable to connect with the any public resources that is available over the internet. Basically, this connectivity happens because of the DNS issue only. Our DNS server must be available for all kind of resolution here. And this disconnection happens due to some misconfiguration or some changes in your environment, and this is very usual issue in point to site connectivity where when we connect our client machine to the virtual private network, which is point to site connectivity. When we connect with the P2S connection, the all the DSCP and DNS server and DNS IP configuration will be automatically configured on our client machine. Like here if we look at this machine and initiate a command ifconfig to check the current configuration. There you can see the IP address that is assigned is 79.129 for the Linux machine, and for Windows machine, why it is not working for the Linux machine. This is Linux machine. Okay, so here if we look at this our machine, I initiate IP config slash all, then you can see this my machine is connected through the Wi-Fi. So we are supposed to look at the configuration on this machine. Here you can see this is the custom domain configuration that is configured here, and you can see here this is the IP address, the SCPI server, and these are this is one. Okay, so if we, as I said to you, we will be working on internet issue. So let's suppose if customer, if any client is trying to connect with google.com, which is very common internet connectivity, then we can see here like we will not be getting any response here in on the client machine that I have that here we can see here that is Ubuntu machine. While on the other hand, if we ping our google.com, here we will be getting ping response on this one. Okay, the reason is very simple here, because you can see I have just initiated a host name that is google.com, and it is resolved into IP version 6. And if we need to check with IP version 4, we only just need to put hyphen for in Windows machine, and there we can see the responses that we will be getting in IP version 4 here. Okay, so it's very clear like this host machine has a connectivity, this Windows machine has a connectivity with the DNS server, which is responsible to resolve this google.com, and it is able to resolve. But if we look at here, just like previously, and I have just checked ping response and let's look up, we did not get any response because this host name was not resolved by the DNS server, which is configured in this Ubuntu. Okay, so now let's look at the configuration. The first step is whether this google.com is resolvable or not, so that we can check by just hitting and let's look up google.com here on the Ubuntu machine, and we will not be getting any response here because it is we do not have any reachability. We do not reachable to the DNS configuration that is configured here. You can see the communication error to reach out to this DNS server. Yeah, that is the server, and the same server is configured here as well. If we initiate ns lookup google.com, and who will be responsible to resolve this issue. Now you can see here this DNS server that is default DNS configuration. This that is the primary DNS server configured on our Windows machine is responsible to resolve the IP host name into IP addresses. But here you can see this server doesn't have a reachability, or no server could be reached. That is the reason when we initiate any host, any ping or any host name to resolve query to the DNS server that is configured here, and we do not have any reach connectivity to that, then the query will not reach to the DNS server, and in a result we will not be getting its resolution here. Okay, so now, if since I told you that this is not a problem with the internet, but this is a problem with the DNS. If we initiate a ping response on the public IP address of this Google 250.196.14, there we will be getting a response, ping response on this IP address, which means we have the reachability over the internet, but the problem is at the DNS resolution. So to check that whether we have a connectivity to the DNS resolution or not, that we can do it by just executing telnet command on the DNS that is configured in our system is 70.42.57, and at port 53, that is the default port of the DNS query, we will not be able to connect with that. The reason is simple, that maybe this DNS server is not reachable on this public IP address, or if we look at here ping response, or even if we initiate a TNC command here on Windows as well, like 98 70 42.57. Okay, so if we initiate a command on this from the Windows server as well, we will not have a reachability on that public IP address. That is nothing but a DNS server IP address. Okay, if we initiate ns lookup command on the same Ubuntu machine, then we can see server 8.8.8.8. It is nothing but a Google DNS server, and on the port 53. Now I will be initiating a resolution on this. We will be getting an IP address like here. So we can see there is no problem on the on this. There's no problem in reaching out. There's no problem in network, but the problem is with the DNS server. We need to just check with the DNS server, DNS team, why my machine is not able to reach out on this particular DNS IP address, which is 98.70.42.57 on port 53. All you need to just troubleshoot on this TCP connection, and TCP connection to check this. So now, if since I have disabled the communication on this 53 to create an environment for you all guys, that is the reason we are unable to reach out for the internet on default configuration. Now, if we initiate this TNC command now, we will be getting a proper successful connectivity on this IP address on port 53, because I have just enabled reachability on this IP address or in this server. Here now you can see, if we initiate NS lookup, okay, there is a problem in the session. I have to take another session. Now, if we initiate an ns lookup command again for the same google.com, then we will be getting response on this ns lookup, because now we have a reachability. Okay, here we go. We can see here the server is responsible to give a result on this ns lookup. And now if we enable google.com, we can see we will be getting, we can see that we are getting response from the google.com. We need to just wait for some time to get it shouted. Now you can see here. So let's suppose if you need to change your DNS configuration in your system, your Linux system, how you can do it by just you have to just move to the exact path where we have, we can see where we all we need to just do, we have to move to the location where DNS configuration file is present with the name as resolve.conf, and we can edit that configuration with after taking administrative privilege, and we can change this to the default one. And then we can also use 8.8.8 instead of 127 to this. Okay, 127 to this, and then this yes save file. Okay, and exit. Now if we initiate any ns lookup command for google.com, now we can see here the responsible dns server is changed. Now it will be now 127, it will be now 120 127,000. Why are we not getting the connectivity? 127.0.0.53. We have the reachability on this, so why are we not getting? We need to just initiate a new another command, the same. Okay, now this 127.0.0.53 is also not reachable. Now let's check connectivity 127.0.0.53 over port 53. We have the reachability. All right. So maybe this is the problem because of this configuration changes. Or we need to just restart this. Then only we can get it sorted out. Or we have to reboot it. Okay. So now we can see like we do not have connectivity, but we have the reachability on telnet. Now we need to resolve this issue further. Now what we can do now, we have to reboot this machine first, because since we have made some changes on our iPhone I and reboot. Okay. Now it is rebooted and the disconnection has happened. We need to just wait for some time to check whether the changes that we have made is has taken effect on this configuration and on the resolution. That we can check by just taking access of new machine. We need to wait for more time. Okay, so now it's connected. We can check if it is available on PowerShell for us or not. Yes, it is available. Now let's take another session as we had earlier on putty session. Here we go. We have a previous session of our virtual machine where we were testing our configuration. Now we need to just initiate the same testing on the google.com. Let's see if we have a resolution. You can see here we have the resolution on the change on the DNS configuration that we have just changed on the by going to the etc resolve.conf. Okay, so this is all that we need to. We can resolve our DNS configuration, or we can configuration issue, or we can DNS configuration issue, or we can resolve our internet issue. Basically, it is very common that we do not need to check with other things, check with the other things. We majorly the problem is with the connectivity or with the resolution, and sometimes it happens like the DNS server that we set on our virtual machine doesn't have a record particular IP address. That could also be a reason here. But here, if we talk about the public domain, so that should not be the case here for us. So all guys, we will meet you in next video. Till then, grab the knowledge, apply the knowledge.